Why will only 500 people in the UK ever buy this new Range Rover? It's because it's the new SV model, the Edition 500, of which only 500 will be sold. To put that into perspective, each year in the UK, there are about 500 £1 million or more lottery winners. But why would anyone buy this car anyhow? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you, because I'm Matt Watson and you're watching Car Wow. You've probably heard about the recent crime spree of people stealing Range Rovers. And as a result, owners have struggled to get their cars insured, especially owners who live in London. Now, I've got a place in London, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to jump on Go Compare and see what quotes I can get back on this car. Well, I wasn't able to get any quotes back. None at all. Go Compare couldn't find anyone to insure me on this car. I've never had that before, to tell you the truth. But I thought, wait a minute, you know, maybe it's just because I live in a dodgy area, and I sort of do. So I tried a Mercedes AMG GLE 63 Coupe. I did get a quote back on that, but the cheapest one, just over £7,000. But at least I could get insurance. However, that would put me off buying that car as well. So I thought, oh, an alternative would be a BMW X6M. So I tried to get insurance on that using Go Compare, just over £3,000. Now, Land Rover is aware of this problem with people trying to get insurance on their cars. So they did the right thing. They stood up and go, listen, do you know what? We are going to sort out our own insurance for our customers. We've got you guys. However, there's been cases of Land Rover refusing insurance through its own insurer for its customers. You can't make it up. Kind of makes sense for completeness for me to try and get a quote through Land Rover, right? Okay. All right. Well, I've done it. I've done it already. Look. Sorry, we are currently unable to provide you with a quote for your Land Rover. Another issue with this car is the fuel economy. This one is averaging 16.8 miles to the gallon. Very expensive to run, and you'll find yourself visiting petrol stations a lot. Now, when you compare it to the plug-in hybrid, one of which you can get with 550 horsepower, so not that low on power compared to this really, that car apparently will do over 400 miles to the gallon. Well, it will do if you plug it in regularly and don't rinse out your battery. But still, yeah. The fuel economy could be an issue, though I think to most of the people it's the fact of having to stop and fill up. That's more of a problem if you're rich enough to be able to buy one of these cars. Because obviously for rich people, time is money. Land Rovers have a bit of a poor reputation for reliability, and this Range Rover SV is no exception. It's only done 1,000 miles and it's already been back to the dealer to have a fix. So let's find out exactly what went wrong. So I'm going to grab the owner. Doesn't really want to be on camera, but come on, Troy, come on in and tell us your sorry story. So what happened to your car?
Had the vehicle, the power opens up over the first 310 miles, 500 kilometers. As soon as the 310 miles went past, literally from 320 miles, it started making some funny noises, taking off, spirited, going out of T-junctions, made some noises. By 7 o'clock that night, it made some horrendous noises and sounded like metal on metal, and it was something called the transfer box.
Right.
Had eaten itself. It was drivable, but I think it was only driving some of the wheels. So the traction control light was flashing if you put any power into the box.
Any idea why?
I believe it was to do with a seal and there was no oil.
No oil in it? Okay, so just after 350 miles, car running, transfer case eats itself because there's no longer any oil in it. Oh dear.
I believe so. I'm only going from what I can gain from...
Right, not ideal though. You've just bought a brand new car and then it's broken straight away.
No, but to be fair to the manufacturer and to my local dealer, he absolutely handheld it all the way through. But without that, I would have been very close to saying I'm not having the car back. And
so the dealer saved the day. However,
absolutely.
I've actually seen some stuff on the internet of another case of this happening, a very similar thing, no oil in the transfer case on a brand new Range Rover Sport SV. Hopefully, yours and this other person's is the only issue, but just goes to show you, they're not the most reliable cars in the world, Range Rovers. Land Rover has just updated its infotainment system, so now it only feels about 5 years behind that of its main rivals. Yeah, look at this, right, so look at the lagginess. Oh, laggy. Oh, it's not the quickest, is it? Oh, let's press this. Oh, Oh, look, that brings you on to the temperature controls. Before they updated the infotainment system, you had some knobs that you could turn. Very quick, very easy to use. I like them. Whereas now, climate is all done through the screen. So if you want to do fan speed and stuff like that and really control your temperature exactly as you want it, yeah, you have to go through some menus. Not ideal. I also don't like their new gear selector. I prefer the old rotary dial. This just looks like, what's it doing there? Like, why is that just there and then there's all this dead space? This doesn't feel like progress. Do you know what? I love the sound of a V8. Give the car some revs. Oh yeah. Oh, nice warm hot air from a V8. Oh, it's probably poisoning me, but I don't care. What I do care about though is that if I was to have one of these cars through a business, let's say you're a company director, you're going to be absolutely nobbled by the taxman in terms of benefit in kind tax. For the very higher rate taxpayers, which you're probably going to be if you can afford one of these cars or you work for a company that will buy it for you, you're going to pay, actually in tax, £28,000 a year as benefit in kind. That is insane. And that's why, really, if you're going to have a Range Rover through your company, you're not going to be able to have the SV. You're going to end up with a hybrid because the benefit in kind on that car is just under £2,600 a year. So none of this. Rev it up again. Such a shame. The old Range Rover Sport had a lovely 5-litre supercharged V8 that put out 575 horsepower. However, for this latest SV version, Land Rover went to BMW for their 4.4-litre twin-turbo V8 from the M5 CS. The result is even more power, 635 horsepower. It also has 750 newton-meters of torque, driving all four wheels via an 8-speed automatic gearbox. 0 to 60 is supposed to take 3.6 seconds, but should we find out what it really does? And before we do that though, I just want to point this out. Ooh, lovely carbon fiberiness and carbon fibery engine cover. Now let's launch the car. Right, let's see what the reality is then. So, specialist timing gear up here, going to put it into launch control mode. Terrible conditions, but it's a Range Rover. It should be able to grip, right? Here we go. Launch activated. Didn't slip at all. And it's absolutely flying. 3.7 seconds, 0.1 of a second slower than they said, but it literally took off. That was insane, and it's wet. That is nuts. It's definitely quicker than the old 5-litre supercharged. What an engine! Wow. Now all those issues I've just mentioned won't be enough to put many people off a Range Rover Sport SV. They didn't put Troy off, although of course he didn't know about the reliability thing, because all the other Range Rovers he's owned in the past have been perfectly fine. Why are people going to buy this? Well, one, style. Range Rover Sport is a good looking car, but this SV takes it to a whole new level. It has a carbon bonnet with exposed carbon fibre. The Range Rover badge is also made out of carbon fibre. Got carbon fibre surround here and a more aggressive front bumper there with a little spoiler at the front. Even that bit's carbon fibre, and there's more carbon fibre here and here as well. Down the side, you get 23-inch alloy wheels as standard, though you can upgrade to carbon fibre wheels. Don't curb those. You can also upgrade to carbon ceramic brakes. You can't get those on a normal Range Rover Sport. Plus, look, you get Michelin Pilot Sport all-season 4 tyres for a sporty drive. More carbon fibre up here, and you have this little side skirt here. Look, running down the length of the vehicle. Oh, and if you don't like the yellow colour of these brake calipers, you can have them in bronze or black. Finally, around the back, you don't have a Sport badge. Instead, you have this little SV badge. Also, like at the front, the Range Rover badge is in carbon fibre. You have this slightly sportier skirt here at the rear and quad tailpipes, which you'll notice on this car have carbon fibre surrounds. It looks luxurious, it looks elegant, yet it does have that sporty edge to it. I like it. The Range Rover Sport feels very luxurious inside. You've got quite a minimalist design, nice leather everywhere, shiny bits of trim and here, though that does scratch quite easily. I'll forgive it though, because I love that Alcantara headlining. And you have features such as, look, oh, soft close, all very nice. However, the SV has some extra bits. For instance, you get these carbon fibre back sport seats with an illuminated SV logo. Also, you get ceramic on the gear selector, so it feels absolutely glorious to touch. Then the paddle shifters have this little perspex bit that's transparent on the top, and when you press the SV button on the steering wheel, they glow red. But perhaps my favourite thing is something that's been introduced on this new SV model. It's called Subpack. So what you have is a stereo system with 1900 watts, and it has 29 speakers, but you also have big speakers in the two front seats, and that means that when you play music you actually get vibrations through the seats, so you feel the music as well as hearing it. It just, it's kind of climactic. Is that a word? Climactic? Climax? Anyway, let's move on because it sounds a bit dirty. The luxury feel of this car also extends to the way it drives. It's very, very relaxing. The air suspension deals nicely with bumps. It's quiet in here. You don't really hear other traffic as you drive past it. Really, really nice and serene. Also, you're sitting up very high. You get to look down on other people and lesser motorists. It really does just make you feel special. But one of the great things about this car is that while it is a big luxury barge, it's actually quite easy to drive in narrow places because, look at this, you've got rear wheel steering, which means the turning circle is a lot better than this bus. It's actually just 10.5 metres. Will I be able to make it round without touching that wall? Sorry if I hit it. Sorry, Troy. Oh, Troy, don't look. I've gone round that mini roundabout once. Yay! Ah, lovely. Yes, you wait for me. I'm in a Range Rover, my friend. But this SV version of the Range Rover Sport, Land Rover have heavily worked on the chassis. They've changed the suspension geometry, they've altered the suspension components, they've fitted a whole new rear subframe, and they've introduced something called 6D dampers. Works a little bit like one of McLaren, where all the dampers are connected to one another, both forward and backwards, both across the axles and then diagonally as well. So that's 6, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what that means is they can do away with anti-roll bars because you use the damper system to stop the car rolling. You can even stop it pitching. It just keeps it nice and flat. They've also combined that with an uprated steering rack, which is more responsive. And to get the full benefit of these upgrades, you need to put the car into SV mode. You do that by pressing this button on the steering wheel. Dials turn red and away we go. Oh, yeah, it feels ready for action. Oh. So here's a corner, let's check it out. Like, whoa, it's caused the camera to fall off. I was not expecting that. It feels weird, actually. The way you pitch it into a bend and there's absolutely no body roll, it's just odd. I was not expecting that. I want to do it again. Just feels, whoa, I'm not used to it. Utterly crazy. Oh my God. I'm not sure how I feel about it in a way, because that roll sensation that you get, even on like stiffly sprung cars, they still roll a bit, lean a bit in the bends, and it lets you know what that front tyre is doing in terms of grip. Maybe it takes a bit of getting used to. It is interesting though, and it definitely handles better than the old Range Rover Sport SVR. Does it feel quite as natural and as fluid and as capable as something like a Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT? Maybe the BMW X6M is a little bit sharper, or should I say a bit more involving? Wow, that has surprised me. It's madness, it's just completely flat. One of the great things about the Range Rover Sport SV is that you've got a performance car that's very, 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 very practical. It's got a decent sized boot, 650 litres. Though actually that's about 200 litres less than a normal Range Rover Sport. Maybe that's something to do with the rear wheel steering system and stuff like that taking up space. Still, you can get extra add-ons like a load cover with a dog guard. Obviously Troy's got a dog. Does your dog bark like that, Troy, or is it more of a woof, woof, woof?
I've got 2 spaniels.
Spaniels. Weird. It's also very practical inside the cabin. Look, we have not just one glove box, but 2 glove boxes. Let's see what Troy is carrying with him. Extra. Troy likes to have fresh breath. And what we've got in here. Troy's glasses case, a cloth for cleaning the screen, iPhone cable, some money that I've just dropped on the floor, and a bit of old schoolness. Actually, it's quite neat, isn't it, Troy? Oh, other storage areas include this area here with your wireless charging. Underneath here we have a little storage area, which is actually a fridge, look, lovely. And the door bins, if you look at the door bins, they're pretty big, aren't they? The door bins in the back are also a decent size. In terms of space, knee room's okay, headroom, that's good. And the seats are very comfortable, they're quite reclined actually. You've also got Isofix anchor points there for fitting child seats. And under here you've got a nice big armrest with some cup holders and some storage. Plus, if you want to let your spaniels into the cabin, you can lower that down like that. Very nice. So, what do I think about this new Range Rover Sport SV? Well, like I said at the beginning, very few people will be able to buy this Edition 500 model. Only 500 in the UK, there's probably about 670 odd worldwide. The normal car though, yeah, that'd be plentiful. Should you get one? Personally, I would probably go for the BMW, or if we could get it in the UK, the Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT. But I can see why this would appeal to plenty of other people, so long as they can get insurance. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Click on the video windows for some more videos, and on the CarWow box to go to CarWow for a surprise that I've arranged personally for you. Yeah, click the link, find out what it's all about.